Hi there and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth. My name's Anna Pirelli. The comments that you see here are my views, beliefs, opinions, and sometimes they are not even my fully formed views, beliefs, and opinions. However, they are my understandings. Please do retain an open mind and reflect on any of the content and your comfort levels. If your views differ, please feel free to leave a comment. Also remember, it is possible to disagree in respectful ways. My way is not necessarily your way and vice versa. You might also find that some of the content on this playlist in regard to spiritual or universal laws, it resonates with you, meaning it feels right to you, while other laws may not feel right or they may not feel comfortable. If this is the case, the information is either not right for you or it is not right for you right now, and it might never be right for you at any given time. It really doesn't matter. As an earthy and practical person, I can put my hand up with all honesty and say that I have at different times had the same feelings about some of the content in here. And with some of them, I still have a level of skepticism within my viewpoints, but I choose to retain an open mind about the things that I don't fully understand for a few reasons. Firstly, because I believe it would be supreme arrogance to think that we all know all of the answers while we have a body. And because what is right for one of us is not necessarily right or suitable for all of us, and I choose to respect the differences. Please do leave your opinions, beliefs. Feel free to argue the points in a respectful way with any of the content on the slides and even my interpretations. And if you feel that you can add clarity around some of the content, we would all love to see it. Thank you. For now, though, let's explore the laws.
All creation is governed by law. The principles that operate in the outer universe, discoverable by scientists, are called natural laws. But there are subtler laws that rule the hidden spiritual planes and the inner realm of consciousness. Contained within these laws, or conditions, is the true nature of matter. Knowledge of these laws has an effect upon the mental urges. Mind is the builder. Stay in full mindfulness of the application of universal law as related to self and to others, and know that in love all life is given, in love all things move. In giving one attains, in giving one acquires. In giving, love becomes the fulfillment of desire, guided and directed in the ways that bring the more perfect knowledge of self as related to the universal, all-powerful, all-guiding, all divine influence in life. Love is life. When we go back, merge with the God source, in some infinitesimal but profound way, we expand the mind of God. Our higher self always points the best and most perfect way, and it is ours to listen and choose or reject what we hear. It does not blame, but patiently tries again to show the perfect way, the loving way. All of creation pushes forth. We are ever becoming. Identity ever remains. Universal Law number 41, the law of identity. This law pertains to the individual right of all to create one's own beingness. It applies to the time spent between incarnations as well as third-dimension incarnational experiences. When an entity merges with the great central sun/God, the entity still may separate to accomplish something, and will possess his/her individual identity.
So as usual, of course, when I review the content of these laws that I'm loading up, I do apply my own personal scenarios to them as well, and this is why I think a group conversation would be brilliant, and that's why I've got this little disclaimer that I'm loading now from Krishnamurti into the actual descriptions, because I learn and grow a lot more from a really good conversation and discussion than I do from listening to my own voice, basically. You know, that's like creating an echo chamber there. So, yeah, anyway, getting back to it, when I look at these laws, I do actually try and translate them based on the information, knowledge, understanding that I've got, that I've gathered over the years, and I also apply it to my own life, where I feel that through that life experience, it demonstrates truth or or facts, if you like. And then on the other hand, sometimes the life experience doesn't give us enough to fall back on to be able to develop is this a categoric truth for me? Does this feel right for me? So, of course, I'm just leading into this. Just follow your own gut instinct, follow your own guidance. Anyway, the conclusions that I've reached with looking at this particular law is that I believe it's referring to our ability to be true to who we are, because we are the creators of our own lives. Of course, we are creators, but we are not controllers. There's a big difference. We do not have the capacity to control everybody that is in the world, but we certainly create our destiny based on the actions of today. So anyway, I do agree that within the divine plan, we all still have individual aspects as part of being a whole, and it is these individual aspects that are the uniqueness, the one that is our personality and the personal expression. One of the things this is not in my notes, I'm just airing and sharing here. I remember years ago, reading all this stuff that's put up, we're all the same, we're all one, Well, yes, we are, but I concluded many years ago that, yeah, we are all the same at a core. We're all a divine spark. We are all one, but we're all different, and it's okay to be different, right? I put it down to, because I love to simplify things. I said, we make a nice apple pie or whatever, and we throw in the ingredients, and we've all got the same ingredients, but if you slice into a pie somewhere, it might have a bit more cinnamon than the other, and it's all absolutely delicious, but each to their own, where the personality is probably the flavouring of the pie, if you like, or those personal characteristics. I think probably what this law is referring to as well is that when it comes to breaking down our personalities, this is part of maturing and growing up and developing wisdom for the earth plane, as well as for our soul and everything else. That when we know who we are, when we know what makes us, what we like, what we don't like, how we live, and all the rest of it, we can then choose who to associate with, and all the acts of being here on the earth plane and living in the moment, we're able to enhance it and give ourselves further options throughout the course of our life, because we don't have to do or not do anything, right? Of course, we're all bound by the laws of the land, but within the parameters of the laws of the land, we can create whatever it is we want. Now, not all of our decisions are in our best interest. We call those the mistakes, don't we? And a lot of the time, the errors of judgment we might have is because we haven't been informed, and this is why, because I've worked in the mental health field and that kind of stuff, we call it informed decision making. That is, you give the people the facts and you let them make choices for themselves. You don't tell them what to do or how to do it. So anyway, I'm diverging for a moment, going off the beaten path. What I'm saying is that I'm not completely sure that I've interpreted all of this correctly. And I did state some years ago, okay, so this is where it leads into personal experience. I do believe, through the eyes of hindsight, that I connected at a very high level with my angels and spirit and the divine, as I say, from a position of hindsight. But I'm not going to make claims about the great central sun or the sun god, because I think that starts to look like a categoric truth. If I sit here making claims about that, it sounds like I really know everything, and that's not who or what I am or what I aim to be. I do recall actually living in because I lived in sunny and warm environments. I do remember one day sitting in contemplation outside, looking at the sun, and actually asking questions of myself and my guides, and asking that question, is this where the angels are from? I wonder if this is it. Could the sun hold the energy of all things? Is this why they talk about vibration and light, that it can be too high? And the use of words can be really interesting. Somebody had said to me that the light beings, they didn't use the word angels, that light beings vibrate so highly that they have to drop their vibration to be able to connect with us. Because if they don't drop that vibration, it can be quite searing to us, as in the burn factor. Of course, they don't do that because they do drop their vibration down. But anyway, I started putting a few things together and just speculating, and then for a while there I got caught up in the whole sun worship stuff and researching stuff to do with Egypt and the sun gods and that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm digressing was the word I was looking for. The point I'm coming to is that I was on my path, and you may as well say that I was working very tightly to that whole being light and love and trying to be perfect at all times. But I actually found it too difficult. I made the choice to step away from it all. And when I say I found it too difficult, this is because I had children and they had behavioural needs, and I felt that I wasn't doing justice to the parenting. I was overlooking a lot of the behaviours which I felt that I had a responsibility to address as a sole parent. And the children were very open to manipulations from the outside, from their father. That's actually would be a really interesting story to tell people someday, maybe in the yarnings, about how I would not call him an enlightened person, but I did send him what's called a past life review and healing and that, without his consent. Obviously, this was back in the earlier days when I was learning a lot of stuff. And the bottom line is I know that he received it because he actually phoned me out bawling his eyes out and apologising. Actually, I'm telling you the story now. Anyway, bottom line is I knew that he'd received the healing, and I thought that it was going to be life-changing, and within 10 days he'd gone back to his previous behaviours. And so that was when I realised that old saying that, you can take a horse to water but you can't make it drink. You can show them the truth, but sometimes they actually really just want to continue doing the stuff that they're doing for whatever their reasons are, and that's their path. Anyway, the other thing I want to talk about here is this business of walking away from your path. That wasn't the first time I dropped it. The second, let me rephrase. I did it twice. I dropped it then when the children were younger so that I could be a parent, and it was really sad. But for me, I was finding it too difficult to address. And by that I mean, if the ex called up and wound the children up, it would become almost like a culture shock. It was like riding up really high on this high vibration with everything's beautiful and lovely and all the rest of it, and then being hit around the head with a wet blanket to bring you back to earth, just to remind you that actually you are still a human being. You haven't left your body behind yet, and you've got some earthly responsibilities. And I thought I was starting to look a bit, I didn't know the terminology. I felt that my persona on the earth plane, for want of a better word, was extremely imbalanced, and when I was brought back to earth, it was just too difficult for me. So yeah, I decided to get more balance in my life, and that meant stopping a lot of this light work that I was doing. And the next stage that I did it was actually when I attended university, which is really interesting. If I, like I say, looking back through the eyes of hindsight, I had once again got back into the spiritual stuff, and I was working on that, and I really I shifted more away from the healing stuff than I'd been doing in the past, and was doing more of the psychic and medium and spirit communication, because obviously those skills had developed over the years. And I wanted it all. I thought that I can have it all, let's be real. We're all human, and it's like, well, I want my spiritual, I choose to be spiritual, and I choose to get this degree and go to university and become qualified. My initial motivation, though, was to get the degree so I could be a better service worker to my clients. But as time progressed, as I was doing the studies, because it took me 5 years to complete it, I recognised that there was an aspect of me that was ego-driven as far as getting my degree. I wanted to have some of that normal conformity, if you like, and not being so out there. I wanted to be able to bridge both of it, and this is why I say I wanted it all. I wanted to be able to succeed as a mental health professional and clinician, and then I also wanted to be able to sustain my spiritual stuff. But I think in the current environment it's actually not compatible. This is just my thoughts. And by this, I think I need to be very clear. When I say it's not compatible, I'm not talking about the clinicians that you meet. I've met many clinicians who actually are quite spiritual, but they also hide it, because when you're working in the fields of mental health and psychology, it's very science-based, and within the scientific professions these days, of course, having no belief or no spirituality seems to be admired. And certainly if you talk to them, if I was to say that I saw angels or I see dead people, they would say that I was psychotic. And I think that's a bit tragic, actually. That's a narrowness of their minds, but it is what it is. So I guess, to be on point with the law, that my choosing to separate, if you like, and to go to university, while I didn't consciously decide at the point of enrolment that I was going to do a separation, as I continued to study, it became clear that I had to make a choice there as to achieving my goal. And I think at the same time that there is never, this is just my perspective, there is never any really true separation, because it's temporary. I had to, if you like, put down the mantle of spiritual and get completely logical and practical. And then when I'd completed my goal, then I was positioned to be able to pick that up and run with it again. But yeah, so I suppose there is a separation that occurs for the accomplishment of a goal, but it never goes away. Look, as I said before, I've always known, even when I felt isolated and alone, that I had my team of support workers there. I did wonder what they were doing and if they were on strike. I'll be quite honest about that. But I knew that they were there. But anyway, for now, I'm going to love yous and leave yous. I'm going to crack on, because I'm doing a lot of work for you that I hope you will appreciate, actually. And I shouldn't say for you, because obviously anything that we do, we kind of do for ourselves as well. So this is a revisitation of my journey, and I thank you for being part of it, and I hope that you can benefit from it. And I look forward to the days when we can have an open discussion, all of us, and just have a yarn, as we say, just chat, just do some yarning and talk about what we know, what we don't understand. Would be wonderful. Anyway, have a blessed day. Take care. Bye-bye.